Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today I have an odd video for y'all today. I wouldn't say it's a banger, it's more of a tragic, weird video. So in order to get the gist of this video, I uploaded catching a gym member gooning, and I suggest y'all watch that one. I will include it at the end, and right now in your top left corner you should see a button. I suggest you click that before going back in this video. It gives you a bit of, pretext of what's really going on. So to paint the picture, again, I was like 25, close to 26 years of age, and I worked at a high-end gym in my local city. Again, it's the most bougie gym there is, and nothing but people with money usually go there. Because if you're struggling, you're not paying fucking $350 for a gym membership. You're just not. Especially if they're not even teaching you to fight. Like, it's just a normal gym. Of course it has pools, jacuzzi, spas, weights, treadmills, a whole lot. You feel me? Classes and all that. But I just find it crazy that people pay that much for a gym membership of that standard. Anyways, I'm totally digressing here. And during that time, I worked in the front desk, and I worked in the front desk for the free gym membership, like a couple days a week. And because working the front desk, you get to talk to nothing but babes who go there. And man, I've gotten a lot of tail, man. A lot of tail from that gym, bro. And I actually worked there when I was in high school. And I'm just saying, dude, that gym is bomb if you're looking to meet girls. And so, ultimately speaking, once I kind of burned the bridge at the front desk, I wanted to branch out and work at different sections in the gym. I'm not trying to spoil that story, as that's gonna be a story that I'll save if we renew season 2 of craziest dating stories I've had. But to paint the picture, you fuck enough chicks who work with you, and you're bound to piss off a chick who works with you. And I also smashed a couple of girls who were, like I said, going to the gym, and I started building a bad rep at the front desk. And there was this chick that I smashed that was butthurt, and she worked with me around the same time. It was just time to switch positions, and I noticed that there was a cute ass blondie that worked in the kids section of the gym as a camp counselor, right? I'm like, ooh, that's my next prospect. So I ended up splitting my hours from 50-50. 50% of the time I'm working front desk, 50% of the time I'm working in the kids section as a camp counselor. And that's actually the first job I had, well, not the first job I had, but that one of the first jobs I've had in high school, working as a camp counselor in the exact same area. And I also ended up hooking with a cute ass blonde during that time too. So it just felt like nostalgic. I'm like, now I'm older and I'm doing it again. Like, fuck yeah, dude. And ironically enough, this girl had a boyfriend too. So, but now I'm digressing. So, I'm here planning my diabolical plot to Mr. Celio girl this blonde chick from this fucking random ass dude, bro. Baseball player. Ooh, baseball player. He's playing with sticks and balls. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. And this would paint the picture of the time when I met this dude. Honestly, I don't know if I want to name drop him, but fuck, man. I'm gonna name drop him only because at this point it's public information. You feel me? It's already on news articles. I'm gonna include a news article at the end, but I'll name drop him. His name was Evan. And Evan, was a camp counselor who was 18 years old at the time. And, again, when I worked at the kids section, my main goal was to get with the blonde chick, right? So I can't say I was psychoanalyzing every single move Evan made, but I was doing enough to pay attention to how everyone is. And not gonna lie, there was some weird ass motherfuckers there, man. There was one dude that looks like that fat guy, that fat comic book guy from The Simpsons. Looked fucking just like that dude, who I thought was a little weird. There was another kid who fucking was, man, bro, he was getting way too bold with me, and I checked that shit real quick. But that's a story in its own, because I checked his ass really hard in front of everyone type shit. I'll tell you what, that dude never tried me again. And there was a couple girls there. The only real girl I was interested in was the blonde girl. The other girls were very okay, mediocre at best. The blonde chick, I would say, you know, she was by far the prettiest. She was at least a 7 or above. And so, you know, to my surprise, many years later, I am now 28 years of age, and just about, and this dude has just been arrested for, I can't even say, for, what's the term for grape, over a child. And yes, we're talking about the fruit grape. And the dude's now 22, I think. 21, 22. And dude, that is crazy, dude. A dude I worked with was that diabolical, was that evil, dude. And the reports allege that there's potentially multiple victims, dude. One report is talking about a 14-year-old, the other one's talking about a 10-year-old. Like, dude, what, bro? I worked with this guy, dude, and I felt like it was worthy of a video to talk about, bro. Because honestly, bro, I had a couple conversations with the dude back in the day, and I like I said, even though my main purpose wasn't to analyze this dude, as I couldn't give a shit about this random dude, I did keep an eye out to how people behave, specifically guys, man. And honestly, I didn't see anything inappropriate. I didn't see anything that was a red flag, dude. So that goes to show, man, you never really know someone, dude. Do you ever often wonder how many people you've met that are capable of crazy, heinous shit? Because I am, and I don't even know. I'm perplexed, man. I'm quite perplexed. What I can say is the dude's been arrested, and the dude worked at multiple gyms in the area as a camp counselor, and he also worked part-time as a babysitter or nanny. And I'll tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, the comments on Facebook are so sexist, dog. They're all saying, who would hire a male nanny? Like, and they're running their mouths about white people, saying, oh, it's always white people doing this. And I just can't help to think that, man, if you ever said, bro, man, if you ever said, oh, typical victim or typical suspect, and it's a black guy, there's nothing but hate there. There's nothing but, you know what I'm saying, like, reprimand. If you ever wrote a sexist comment against a female, like saying she can't drive or she shouldn't be allowed to be president or whatever, or she shouldn't be allowed to be a cop or whatever, there'd be so much reprimand. But the fact that this dude's white and that this dude's a male, people are freely spreading prejudice and hate against all dudes who are white and guys taking care of children like we're all pedophiles. Oh shit, I'm not even sure if I can say that word. Fuck it. And that's just crazy, dude, because that's far from the truth, man. Not every guy you come across is a danger. But on the flip side of the coin, I mean, I hate to say it, I silently agree. I don't like how publicly open you could be with your sexism and your prejudice. I don't like that most of the Facebook comments are flooded with that. How, like, no guy should be allowed to take care of children. I think that's, like, wrong. But I don't 100% agree with that notion as, yeah, dude, honestly, dude. To a certain degree, I get it. Me personally, man, with my daughter, there's zero chance in hell that if I did get a babysitter, it'd be a dude. There's just no way it would, dude. But that isn't to say chicks can't also be predators, bro. Because they absolutely can, dude. As a matter of fact, nowadays, man, how many girl teachers, which are always fine, get caught sleeping with their students, dog? That shit is so common nowadays. And you know, that kind of, man, that kind of irks me, bro. Because, like, the teachers I had back in my day were ugly as hell. Where was that fine 20-something-year-old teacher, man, that was trying to get work? But anyways, man, I'm just saying, bro. But there's a double standard, ladies and gentlemen. There is a double standard. And we see it all the time. Whenever a teenager gets quote-unquote assaulted by a cute 20-something-year-old teacher, the comments are usually like, damn, that's a lucky kid, like, he should just be quiet, and all this or that. But if it's opposite genders, if it's a 20-something-year-old man with a teenager girl, it's like all hell breaks loose. So we live in a society that prejudice, racism, sexism is still extremely active, dude. Extremely active. Anyone who says it's dead is on drugs, bro. Like, low key, bro. And going back on Evan's case, man, I always believe there's two sides. There's three sides to every story. There's their side, the victim side, and the truth. And usually the truth falls in between of both the stories. And dude, we live in a society where so many people are accused of all kinds of shit, and you get arrested on the spot from just the accusation alone, dog. And frequently people have been proven to be innocent, dude. So in this case, man, I'm not gonna put my 2 cents as I don't have the police report. But what I can say is, by what I saw of Evan, dude, he didn't seem like that type of dude that was fiending on children. But on the reports that we've seen, bro, he was buying the child, which one report said 14, the other said 10. He was buying the child all kinds of gifts, and at one point bought them an AirTag. And buying any child an AirTag besides your own is a huge red flag, dude. Like, huge red flag. That's not painting a good picture for him, dog. To be able to track the child anywhere, that's a huge red flag, bro. So, my heart goes out to the victim, if they are indeed a victim. My heart goes out to the family of the victim and the family of the accuser. As, damn, dude, like, he had a sister that I thought his sister was fine, but I wasn't gonna get with her because she was on the younger side. But my heart goes out for everyone involved in that situation, and in a weird way it goes out for him, man. If he is innocent, if he's guilty, then that motherfucker can rot in jail as far as I'm concerned. I'm saying death penalty for all I give a shit. As I said, I truly don't believe kids should be exposed to any kinds of assaults or problems. But all I know is that if he is innocent, if we operate on the notion innocent until proven guilty, his face has been plastered across all social media, dude, across multiple news networks. Like, this guy is cooked, bro. He's not finding a job ever again, dude. Like, his record is tarnished, man. And so, for everyone's sakes, I do hope in a weird way that he is guilty, if he isn't guilty, his life is completely ruined over nothing, dude. And it reminds me of that football player that was accused of that, how he was innocent the entire time, and the chick came out many years later to admit that he never really did anything. But by that point, he had spent, decades in prison, bro. And what's funny enough is that making a false police report holds very little consequences for the girls, bro. Like, we live in a society that's just very cooked, ladies and gentlemen. There's still a lot of work to do, man. So, for all my future lawyers out there, future judges, politicians, change the system, man. Change the system. We still operate under very barbaric ways of operating. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, my 2 cents, I can't say he's guilty or not. I do not know, but what I can say is I didn't see anything from that dude. That was odd. But I've always believed that, man, motherfuckers can be two-faced, bro. There's so many people who are, you know, they appear one way, but they turn out to be a completely different way. And I believe when push comes to shove, a lot of people show their true darkness, their true demons. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, those are my 2 cents, man. If you're wondering if I ended up hooking with the blonde girl, I actually got really close, dog. Like, in my book, really close, bro. Like, enough where she was asking me to be at her station and working with her, and you know what I'm saying? A girl gets all kinds of feelings when you're carrying a baby and showing that you're like a good father figure and shit. It does something to their primal nature. But unfortunately, I ended up losing the job before I could succeed. But I did get close. In my book, I got pretty close. And I actually, the way I lost the job is another story. The girls I got with are completely other stories. Like, that gym will be featured again on the channel, bro. At this point, it should just be a playlist. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'll include a screenshot around here. Again, you know, I believe the consequences, if the child was 10 or 14, I believe the consequences, if they were 10, I believe the death penalty should be a consequence. 14, I'd say life in prison, or damn near close to that, if found guilty. But again, I think there needs to be a lot of evidence, substantial amount of evidence to prove that without a shadow of a doubt one is guilty or not, before any moves are made. It's a very tragic situation overall. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this has been your host with the most, signing out.